everybody, it's Gail from Gail's Bookish Things. My hands are a mess. I have been cleaning pens and re-inking pens, and this is what's happened. It's so funny to me that these inks that are not waterproof can stick to your hand so much. And right here, I just got this a little bit wet. My hands were still damp, I guess, and it's like all over the place, but when you try to wash it off, no. Anyway, so September 5th, I chose 3 inks. They were new samples, and I put them all in TWSBI pens. I had 2 TWSBI broad pens and one 1.1 stub nib. I did the SBRE Brown Dutch Masters. I've been calling that I think I've been mistakenly saying it was a diamine ink. It's Ackerman. I really liked this brown. I really liked the flow of it. I loved it right away on this 52 GSM. Let me double check that. Yes, Tomoe River paper. And then my other one was Diamine Blue Edition Winter Miracle. So here it looks quite green depending on the light. It either looks like a really dark purple, or it looks like a kind of a sheening or shimmering green ink. But it primarily shows up typically as dark purple, and then when the light hits it certain ways, you get the green or the golden effect. I really, really enjoyed working with this ink. It's super dark. It doesn't really look black, but it definitely is very, very deep toned, but is very pleasant to write with. Very smooth. Was wet on this paper. Other papers that I use throughout the week in my journaling. I just found it super pleasant. I was glad to pick up that pen and write with it. And the SBRE Brown Dutch Masters was also very pleasant. I hesitate just a little bit on it because it reminded me quite a bit of my Ancient Copper ink from Diamine. So, you know, it's not as red, but it was similar enough that I wasn't sure if I would want to buy something that's that similar. I guess for me, I'm finding that I like the inks to be different enough that it makes sense to purchase a new kind of color. The other one was Vinta's Maharlika. I just bought a sample of that from Van Ness Pens, and it was a super wet, smooth, and gushy ink. Trying to read my notes here. The light is reflecting off of it. Try it in a Kaweco pen, and I did do that. I don't think I liked it in that, based on my notes. I can't remember exactly, but I really enjoyed it in the 1.1 stub TWSBI. I just rinsed this out because the one thing about it that I didn't particularly like is that it really made the pen hard to clean afterwards. But it's got a really fun sheen to it, and the ink itself is just really nice. Just a wet, gushy ink, as I've said, and I have found that to be true of several of the Vinta inks. One I'm trying this week is the Vinta St. John's Laguna, another very wet, fun to write with ink. An interesting point, which I feel like I may have mentioned, but the Diamine Blue Edition Winter Miracle that I had in my other TWSBI, in my TWSBI Eco. Gosh, I'm losing my train of thought. It was specified as being an average flow ink, but I found it to be beyond that. Or if that was average, then I have a lot of dry inks. But I felt like that was a very pleasant ink, very almost more on what you would say like a wet flow ink versus an average flow. I liked it a lot. I would consider buying it. I don't think I would, as much as I enjoyed writing with the Maharlika by Vinta, just too messy in the pen. I guess I don't want to have to mess with that too often. So I don't think I would get that. I would think about buying the the Diamine Blue Edition Winter Miracle. That one was recommended on Held and Writes. She had lots of different purple shades, and that one appealed to me. And I do like the effect and the sheening on that. The Vinta Maharlika, beautiful to write with, but also to reread it, I felt like it was, I don't want to say rough on the eyes, but just, it has the reflective quality. And so I don't know if somebody would want to reread that, or if I want to reread some notes. I think I'd be distracted by the sparkle, but it's a beautiful ink. So just depending on your preferences and what you would do with the ink or what kind of journaling you would do, you might find that very nice. I primarily do note-taking, scripture writing, occasional letters, but a lot of journaling. And I just probably overall want just a functional ink that just is really great to write with. But I certainly enjoyed all these inks, and I just want to show you that my September 3rd onward inks were the ones I mentioned, plus I still had Takisumi in my cement gray TWSBI Eco Broad, and I still have the Noodler's Heart of Darkness in my Pilot Petite. This is kind of ongoing. I cleaned this one out for some reason tonight. I'm not sure why. Maybe because I just didn't want to have too many inked up pens. But all of these, all week long, week and a half, 2 weeks, were just great writing. I picked them up and I enjoyed writing with all of them. It wasn't a week of, oh, I can't wait to use this up, or I can't stand it, I'm rinsing it out now. Every experience was favorable. Here I put some Diamine Ancient Copper in my new Kaweco Dark Olive collector pen, the double broad. I liked those together. I liked the green and the rusty color. I thought those were fun. Oopsie. And just a really great combination. I also just wanted to see how close they were. So the SBRE brown on this paper, again, this is 52 also, and this one I believe, yeah, 52 GSM. Definitely looks more brown. This has the more rust look. But if I had to pick, I still like the Ancient Copper better, but I was very pleased with the flow of that ink. The thing I think will be interesting to compare this coming week is how I'm liking the Scotch Brown ink by Monteverde that I'm going to use, and see if I like its color more or less than the Dutch Masters. So I do have to do a new currently inked page, and I'll show you what I'm going to do this week, what I'm going to use, and then at the end of the week we'll kind of evaluate those. But instead of just doing one ink per pen, I'm trying to kind of evaluate a little bit more at a time. So I have 5 pens inked up in my Benu Briolette broad, of course. I have the Jade Noir. Thought the gold and green would be pretty together. I'm kind of trying to focus maybe on some fall colors, since it's like the first day of fall. And then, of course, the Vinta St. John's Laguna is in my Lamy Vista. And you probably won't be able to see it here, but in the light, it's kind of fun to see the reddish tones through that. My Golden Espresso Kaweco broad, I have inked with Scotch Brown Monteverde. So I really liked using my new dark olive, and I really like my brass one. This is a beautiful pen. I'm getting sidetracked, but it's just something I wanted to comment. The coating on it is a lot more slick, and I don't like writing with that as well. I don't feel like I can grip it as well as the plastic ones or my brass one. So although this is beautiful, it's not one I especially like writing with because of the slippery finish. It's really pretty. I like having it in my collection, but I don't like that slidey feel because I just like to be able to grip it a little bit better. The Takisumi Iroshizuku ink. I have loved writing with this ink. It rinses out purple in the sink, and I've mentioned that before when you hold it up into the light. If you have a demonstrator pen, you can see a kind of a shading of purple, but it comes out as a black or maybe a charcoal gray. The name Takisumi, I think, is charcoal, bamboo charcoal. And it's been a great ink. I am very pleased. I love using the Iroshizuku inks. So far, every one that I have, I love writing with. So I could probably just have those inks forever and be pretty well off. I put the Takisumi in my Franklin Christoph broad nib pen. I had the fine Sig nib. It's real fine. It's a good nib, and I will probably put it back, but I was experimenting with a broad because that's usually my preferred pen nib size. This is a medium TWSBI Eco. I don't use it often because I don't generally like the mediums, but since this is such a wet, flowy ink, I decided to try the Takisumi in this too and see if it just made a nice basic black line for note-taking, regular writing. And I think it's kind of fun because it looks kind of like Halloween colors, the black and the orange. That'll be at the end of October, of course, but kind of got me thinking about that holiday coming up. So 5 pens. Have something different, no repeats for this week. It'll be fun to see which ones I tend to want to pick up to write with when I'm doing journaling. But that's that. So I will let you know towards the end of the week. Let's see, what are we on? We're on Tuesday already. Kind of got a late start on my inks, but we'll do it within a week probably. Do an evaluation, and we'll see how long I can stand writing with these, and we'll see which ones are favorites. If I don't like them, it's like torture. I can't keep it in there. I want to get it out. I empty out the pen and I try something else. I really tried to mix it up this week. Last week was all about trying TWSBIs. This week it's a little bit of something different in each pen with, other than the black Takisumi, I am trying to focus on some colors that make me think of fall. Fall is my favorite season. I love it. It's cool here tonight. It'll probably warm up again in a few days, but tonight it's supposed to be, I think, down in the 40s or something. So this is so fun. I'm loving using this. It just gives me pleasure to open this up and see my selection. I don't even have the other side full because I don't like to have more than this inked up at one time. I carry this with me when I go to church, and I just flip that open and decide which pen, or if I'm journaling at the table, I do the same. Somewhere down the road I may just use it as storage, but for now it's the kind of just the one I carry around with my inked up pens, and I really liked it. Sometimes you do need to watch that lining in there. It'll kind of get caught in the zipper, in the way of the zipper, but these have been really wonderful. Okay, well, that's all. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon. Take care.